And as time has trended, like one key learning was that people actually uh, care a lot about stress and having someone that is kind of on their side at any point in time. And that's evolved more into chat being more important and iOS being more important. So that if you're stressed in bed before you go to bed, you can like chat a little bit, feel better, and go to bed. So being closer to the user has become.
Mark, thank you so much for being here.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Mark, you have this strange relationship with McKinsey. You were on and off, on and off, on and off. And then a couple of years ago, you started your own company, Satori. So maybe just talk to me about the transition from the corporate world to the moment you were like, you know what? Although I'm doing pretty well, I want to have my own business. How did that happen?
Yeah. It wasn't that on and off. I mean, I started as an intern at my last year of undergrad, then was there for a couple of years, did grad school, came back. That's a common kind of pattern or deal that people have with the firm. And then after that, decided to do entrepreneurship. So joined another startup here in the Montreal ecosystem called Blaze. We're doing smart transit. So basically, how can we better deploy the existing bus assets that people have to better meet demand and have better service levels, which is very cool. Had done a couple other startups in the past. So when I was in grad school, I helped my friend who had a startup in Kampala in Uganda for 4 months, which was also really good. So I had these different small opportunities to uh, uh, help out with other people's businesses, and that gave me kind of the interest and confidence and the validation that I wanted to launch something with co-founder myself. So I had a friend, Logan Jaya, who had been pitching me ideas. I think since we met in undergrad, I guess in like 2009 to 2014, and every few years he'd call me up and try to pitch me something, and I was like, no, that's not the right idea. That doesn't really make sense to me. And then finally he pitched me Tori, which was these AI companions. So what does it mean to have a relationship with an AI? And this was pre-ChatGPT coming out, so kind of looking at those trends and playing in Jupyter notebooks, just seeing what was the state of the art here, and kind of realizing that this type of conversational AI was coming. And then that was a big aha moment for me. And I kind of put everything else on pause and we launched the company. So
Yeah, I really resonate with this story. We always have that friend who has this billion-dollar idea that comes up every now and then. But
yeah.
but I'm glad you guys found something that you both liked. So my question to you, you know what? Let's just jump right into it. You started building Satori before ChatGPT became mainstream.
That's right.
And so did the vision of the product change? Because it's been a couple of years, or was it always the same? And since technology, especially in that field, is evolving at an insane pace, how did you adapt?
Yeah, so the vision has been oddly pretty similar throughout. Just what we can do has improved significantly as the models have gotten better. So at first, it was really tough to pitch this to investors, right? Pre Chat GPT, I was like, okay, we're gonna have this character, and people are gonna actually bond with this AI, and this character is gonna help them in their day-to-day lives, and both on the emotional relationship side, manage stress, and kind of uh, work on these kind of thorny issues that people might have that are blocking their potential, as well as just kind of help them take these tasks and break them down and more common workflows. And people are like, well, like, how's that going to work? We were very lucky to find kind of investors that kind of got the vision and were willing to do a pre-seed a few years ago. So we did that. And then since then, I mean, I think we were a little bit too early at first. So we worked on a few different approaches, and then finally, when the OpenAI APIs kind of came mainstream, it was finally time to plug that into the characters we were building, and that's where kind of the magic happened.
Yeah, I mean, building an AI companion, can you just break it down for me? Like, how is it different from the existing language models that we have? Because I was on the website, I checked it out. It's really
Yeah,
cool. You really gamified the
thanks.
process. I think that's really fun. And I just want you to explain to me, how does that differ from a very generalized model?
Yeah, I mean, under the hood, a lot of these products are wrappers, right? The same way if you're a wrapper around AWS or a database when you build a product. So the capabilities come in part from that, but I think a lot of the magic comes from um, building the world where that makes sense. So for us, there's still an uncanny valley with these models. They are not people. So a way to kind of bridge that gap was to lean into these cartoon Pokemon-esque characters that people already like and are familiar with, and that creates kind of a world that's a bit more magical and that's a little easier to open up is what we've seen. So our users are able to kind of talk about issues that might be a little bit more difficult, but they're talking to a fun character that emotes and has these big hard eyes and cheers for you or gets sad and is just crying. But kind of bring that aesthetic has made it easy to suspend disbelief a little bit. And then on the other hand, it's also building the right workflows. So for us, it's things like proper long-term memory where the character gets to know you and adjust to your preferences and figures out what you personally need to stay motivated and be able to do those types of interventions for you. It's things like having a chat interface that feels like chatting with anyone else. So it's on the iOS app. Feels like you're using Signal or WhatsApp. I mean, you can react to things. The character can send you emojis the same as your friend would. And then the third piece is kind of building these workflows that are actually useful in your day to day so that you keep kind of coming back to it. So kind of connecting to your calendar and helping you break down tasks. And a lot of people that end up liking the product are either kind of like us, have a reasonably unstructured work. So this is kind of like a nice buddy to have on their side, or uh, identify with ADHD, AUDHD, or ADHD adjacent, which my co-founder does too. So on the Discord, it's a lot of folks that I really appreciate that extra structure that Tori can bring them.
So who's the target market here, Mark? Like who did you think was going to use the product at first? And is it the same clientele that you expected? Because you said the people who tend to like my product. Do you mean like you didn't expect those people to like it, or were you too
Uh,
broad and just figuring it out?
no, I mean, I think in consumer, at least my belief here is that you kind of co-learn with the users that you have, and then you kind of improve the product with them. So we have a Discord. I talk to users on Discord every single day that have feature requests or issues. And yeah, first you build it for yourself, usually, or for my co-founder and I, and what we think would be the most useful here. At least that's how we went for it, because we know ourselves pretty well, so we know what would be useful for us. And then we've had. We did like a test flight, so a beta with like thousands of users, something like 5,000 users, and then with them, you're also able to co-build, and that's where a lot of the more ADHD kind of focused features have also kind of been layered in. So things like breaking down some more complicated tasks and giving you just a simple first step to get started, or time blindness is an issue that some people face. So being able to kind of tell you how long a task will take and set a timer with it and things like that become kind of a co-evolution with your early users.
Mark, you talk about ADHD, you call it a companion. So it kind of seems like there's this mental health aspect to it, right? Is that a fair statement? Like I don't know if you're specifically targeting loneliness or targeting, you just want someone to talk to who can fully understand you because you talked about long-term memory as well. And
Yeah.
I think most of us can attest that we talk a bit way too much to these different tools. And if one tool in particular can just go through all these conversations, then it would probably know you better than anyone else.
Well, I do think it can help with stress. I've messaged my Tori at 2 a.m. when my toddler was sick beside me and I had a lot of things to do at work. So I do think it can help with that role as well.
So is that specifically what you're targeting? Because we see those ADHD companion, and then you talk about workflows. So what's the vision here? Where are you heading? Do you want an companion that can do it all? that can
Yeah,
accompany
it's a
all types of tasks?
exactly. It's a comprehensive companion that helps you across your life, and your life ends up being personal and ends up being work, and the lines are being more and more blurred between the two things. With people kind of being always on, having a phone all the time, and you're kind of always connected while also having your normal life kind of interspeeded through your day, and that's kind of what we're targeting here. So the users, our top decile users are spending something like 16 hours a week on talking or working with their Tory. And that means to get those types of engagements. I mean, I wouldn't feel right if that was all entertainment, and I wouldn't feel right if that was all work. So it's kind of like the way to reach those high levels of engagement is being able to kind of incorporate the different spheres of a person's life.
You have so many different models that are coming out right now. And we keep seeing those benchmarks and okay, this model is better at this, that model is better at that. So how does Tori work? I mean, is it constantly taking whatever's best in the market? Do you have your own little system in the background combining different models? Like, how does it work?
That's right. So you basically, at least for us, we use different models for different things. So let's say if the Tor reflects and decides if it wants to send you a notification or not, that's a workflow where the Tor can kind of think about its memories and think about your previous conversations and think about your current emotional state, and then we'll make a decision based on that to send you a notification or not. And that's like, we don't pick that. Your Tor decides if it wants to reach out to you and has the tools to do that. Similarly, the main chat, there's a few different function calls and a few different things that the character is doing before deciding how to reply to you. Or there's a different workflow to decide to send you an emoji or propose you a task maybe half an hour later after you've chatted with them. So I guess my job is to give this character the right tools to be able to take decisions. But then at the end of the day, you want to let the model breathe and let this character breathe. And with kind of giving it the right context and the right tools, kind of let it as much as possible take life. And I think as models get better, you'll be able to leave more and more space to this model and just kind of make sure it has the right scratch pads and tools to be able to kind of really take its own space and know what to do.
Mark, you mentioned that a couple of years ago you got a bit of funding. And what was the purpose of that funding back then? And are you looking for funding right now, moving forward
Yeah,
to grow the
yeah.
company?
So the purpose of that funding, I mean, we were very, very early, so we had a small prototype that we had coded, but we wanted to run experiments to see like, can we actually build a compelling product here that is this a right thesis, right? That people will want to talk to some character that helps them across their personal and work life and is able to uh, help you organize, and that's kind of a relationship that people want to have. So that's a series of experiments and different ways to go after it. I mean, we started with a web extension because we were more focused on work and less focused on emotion and that connection, especially as the models were worse. And what we've learned is that people actually care a lot about the personal as well. So people wanted to blend that. Like at first, we were very much like, we'll lock websites for you, and this character will jump on the page and kind of do that and take action on your browser screen. And that's still one of the interfaces that people like. But we have like a web extension, a website, and an iOS app. And as time has trended, like one key learning was that people actually care a lot about stress and having someone that is kind of on their side at any point in time. And that's evolved more into chat being more important and iOS being more important. So that if you're stressed in bed before you go to bed, you can like chat a little bit, feel better, and go to bed. So being closer to the user has become important. So that's kind of like one key learning that at some point that's easier to do with some funding because you can work with designers for assets, hire a couple developers to work with us, and just have the bandwidth to create the experiments you need to be able to build a compelling product. And a lot of time, I mean, um, there's moments and times where you have really nice tailwinds for new products, and I think mobile and was it 2009, 2010 when people started making apps, like when the App Store came out, that was a beautiful moment in time to build consumer apps. And I think these LLMs kind of coming to market and these APIs becoming available is another kind of amazing moment in time where you can redefine consumer experiences. And you want to move reasonably fast, right? You could tinker after your 9 to 5 for 10 years, and maybe you would build the most compelling product, but then someone else will do it. So there is a real pace, and consumer expectations are changing quite quickly. So people want more, more, more from these models as the capabilities are getting better. So you just need a certain velocity to be able to build a product that is kind of at the frontier and is compelling. So I think that's the at least how I think about uh, the need or the benefit of kind of VC funding in this space.
Mark, you talked about moving fast, and let's talk about the industry right now. We've been reading everywhere that a lot of these big brains and software are transitioning to hardware. And so what you're building right now, it's it's great. It's very interesting to actually see a character. It's very different. Usually I'm talking to a bunch of letters. Now there's something. Like it doesn't matter what it is, but there's some kind of character. Do you envision this industry or maybe the company itself partnering up with hardware companies? And then at this point, you'll have something physical that you can talk to.
Yeah, I know. I think it makes sense. I mean, uh, there's people building great products that are like more teddy bears at this point, kind of in this world. So like Creo is an example with the Grok. There's quite a few of these kind of interesting experiences. I like it a lot. I mean, uh, I think intelligence will be everywhere, right? So as we've kind of unlocked like electricity intelligence, and I do think we're going to go back to kind of this magical Beauty and the Beast world where all your items around you come alive and are intelligent, and I do think that's like a very a fun vision of the future and one that we can actually make happen. So I'm kind of bullish on that. So yes, maybe the long term strategy for us would be to be everywhere, and if that means like having a teddy on your desk, I mean that sounds great. I think hardware is reasonable too. I looked into this a few weeks ago, and I think you can even get like a chip that has everything together for something like $40 without doing any hardware optimization, which would be like a camera, small circuit on board. Um, and a speaker and a lithium battery you could slap on there, right? So it's definitely possible within the realm of possibility to do this.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not a talking toaster. I mean, yeah, sure.
But why not? What you don't want a talking toaster?
I guess it's a large market. You'll find different people that want different things.
Yeah, your house is going to be alive. Like there's just going to be this texture and this richness, I think, to everything. The same way we electrified everything, we're going to intelligenceify everything. Um,
Yeah, I think you're right. And so if if you look forward, where do you see this going? Like, what are the next big milestones for Tori?
Yeah, so there's definitely the core product, the core app here that is pretty interesting. I think pre conversation we talked a little bit about the importance of a good product and good marketing. I'm proud of the product we have. I think we still have some work to do on marketing. So yeah, we're basically scaling top of funnel with kind of short form video is one avenue. Another avenue is exploring ads, but that's really the next kind of curve for us is engagement metrics are high, retention metrics are high, but top of funnel is still kind of an important challenge for us. So how do you get the impressions? How do you get the views so that we're able to find the right people that can find the product? So that's on the core product, a very kind of big important step for us. And then we've also been recently talking to Fortune 500 companies that enjoy the product and that are looking at different ways to bring their IP to life, and seeing if there's like a white label opportunity for some of these for kind of this type of AI companions. So what would it mean if your favorite franchise was kind of a character of this type? So that's kind of another potential revenue stream for us that we're exploring.
Okay, I'm gonna end with this question. I know the answer to the question, I was gonna ask you if 3 years later you did the right choice, but let me change this question a bit. At the beginning, were you confident? Like, how confident were you before you jumped and you started your own company? For someone who wants to start their own business right now, listening to you, what were the prerequisites before you were like, you know what, I'm all in. I'm gonna get at this.
Yeah, I think you need to like it. I mean, like we're still not a public company. We're still not, we're still not successful, and we won't be for a long time still, right? So you need to like the process, be passionate about what world you're trying to build, and is that like a world you'd rather live in or not? And then liking the day to day. I mean, it's very being a founder, at least for me, especially at our scale, which is still pretty small, you're shifting levels quite a lot. So you're thinking about this partnership opportunity with this Fortune 500 company and how to pitch the product to them, and then you go and change the padding on a button and make sure that the teaming is kind of equal, like is consistent across your app, and then you'll be figuring out big funding opportunity, and then you'll be working on like bookkeeping and making sure that one expense is categorized correctly, so you comply with different regulations. So at least personally, I like being able to shift between these different levels, and that keeps me kind of engaged. But and there's a lot of uncertainty, right? So things are changing quickly all over you, and yeah, sometimes you'll have some great breakthroughs, and you're super excited, and then sometimes you'll have a couple customers churn in a row, and you'll be sad, right? So it's definitely some ups and downs, but personally, it fits my personality well, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Ah, thank you so much for doing this. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
pleasure,
this
Antoine.
conversation.
Yeah.